If you've followed Stephen King on X over the last few years, you might not even know that he was a horror writer. You might just think he's some DNC paid activist shill to go Trump, 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 Trump. He actually got into trouble a couple weeks ago over his terrible take on Charlie Kirk, where he lied about the man, was forced to apologize for it. But I did notice in the apology when he did that, he apologized that he got this specific fact wrong. He didn't apologize for the spirit of what he was doing, which was, of course, trying to demean and diminish a dead guy and call him terrible things, which is what the entire left's been doing recently. Now, Stephen King, in between all of this, actually made a dumb post on banned books. And I'm going to get into what everybody means by banned books these days. And it's ridiculous. And it's a fake. And it's gay, as you would expect. And then I'm going to get into what really is banned in modern publishing industry, because a lot of people still don't know this. And people still need to know how bad the publishing industry has gotten over the last couple of decades. It is a terrible, terrible state. And we'll get into this news in just a moment. So please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us as we talk about all things science fiction, fantasy, and this is your real fantasy news, my friends. This is my book. It's called For Steaming Country, and this is the beginning of a series called The Adventures of Baron von Monocle. It's a fantasy series about airship adventuring, about swashbuckling, fun. It's very pro-nationalist, obviously, by the title you could tell that. And it's very good. It's all ages for everybody. It's not a problem. This could actually be in a school library or something like that, and you could check it out with your kids, and you would not have a problem with it. Now, it's not in any school libraries. It's not in any libraries whatsoever. What do you think is the reason for that? But this is what we're going to get into with this banned book sort of situation. Real independent authors like myself are really actually banned, not on Amazon, obviously, but from bookstores, from libraries, from this whole system of traditional publishing, just because of politics and just because of who we are. They actually don't allow white males to get published anymore. If you don't know that, Stephen King was kind of the last of the generation of that sort of thing. It's very, very crazy out there. But start here, guys. This is fun stuff. If you like good fantasy, there's a whole 6-book series. You can get it on ebook, print, and audio today. Thank you guys for reading. And let's get into this news. That's in the description below. So like I said, Stephen King was going off. He usually just goes off on Trump. Trump says lots of stupid people in this country running things. Finally, something I can agree with. Angry, he gets savaged in his comments. This is what he does. And he made this statement, which came to my attention, about banned books right here. He says, I am now the most banned author in the United States. 87 books. May I suggest you pick one of them up and see what's pissing and moaning is about? Self-righteous book banners don't always get their way. This is still America, damn it. And it's like, wait a minute. You are one of the most successful best-selling authors out there, propped up like the media, like none other, have movies made out of dozens of your books, dozens of movies. I don't know many people who are less banned than this person in the entire world. This guy has taken the ticket, sold his soul to the devil or something, because he is the least banned person ever in the existence of books, probably. Now, what does he actually mean by this, and what do they always mean by this? They always mean that, and what I said here, well, I guess I didn't say that, but what they always mean by this, and what you can translate here, I guess I quote tweeted it, not in the comments, but is that a banned book means they're not in school libraries, right? And so he has gruesome horror books that are very graphic in nature, and they're not put in front of children. That's what they mean by banned. And any other banned books out there usually just means there's graphic stuff going on. Now, there's been a whole uproar over this, as parents have wanted this LGBTQ content and the like, not really Stephen King books as much, but these books like Genderqueer out there, if you're not familiar with Genderqueer, Genderqueer Fandom Pulse. I will show you this, and this is Genderqueer. It's a book that is not allowed into school libraries, and this is what they mean by banned stuff. And so it has graphic depictions. I actually censored it out of people. You can see they're touching themselves. They're actually performing acts in here, and this is the book. They want this in there, and that's why I had to censor it, because it's not appropriate. YouTube would not allow that content, and of course I don't allow that content on my website either. Normal. right? It is highly pornographic and pretty bad. That's what they mean by banned books. This is what they don't want in classrooms, or that they want in classrooms, rather, that are not being allowed in classrooms, that they're, of course, going crazy about like it means something. Now, this is readily available in every bookstore, every adult library, and this is what the traditional publishing establishment doesn't tell you also, is that these libraries across the nation, there's one in every town. I mean, how many towns are there in the nation, right? They pick up all these books, and traditional publishing actually sells these books to libraries based on your tax dollars. So you're buying Stephen King books to prop him up. So he's probably sold every book that comes out, 10 or 20,000 copies directly to these libraries. And so that's the scam, because no consumers are actually reading them. They look like automatic New York Times bestsellers just because your tax dollars bought these. And this is across the board in traditional publishing, and this is how they prop up this industry like that. It's really quite the scam. Now, people like me can't get into libraries. Libraries do not buy my books direct like this. It doesn't happen. You have to have this whole system set up through traditional publishing to get that done. That's the library system right there. There's no way we should be funding that, period. It's ridiculous. And this is what is banned, right? He's mad that he can't get into, quote, more libraries, because that's how he just gets his nut, basically, right? And so this is what they talk about when they talk about banned books. It's totally not banned anywhere. Everybody can freely read it. It's very, very available. He's propped up by the establishment. Hollywood makes his movies. And then independent authors like myself, I mean, I'm actually banned from the World Science Fiction Convention and the Science Fiction Writers of America, like the Authors Guild in my genre, right? Why am I banned? Well, they just don't like my YouTube videos like this, and I'm actually banned. Stephen King's not banned. They'd have him go speak there. I mean, they'd die for him to do so. So, you're not a banned person. I'm banned from Kickstarter from selling my books because I, quote, violated community standards. I'm banned from Patreon because I hate speech, right? And so this is exactly what is actually banned out there. I have an uphill battle independently trying to get my books in front of other people, and I have to do this every single day, just working on my own to sell my books. Meanwhile, the establishment just does it for him, and actually your tax dollars pay for your books for him also. This is where it's absolutely crazy when they talk about this stuff. Now, he did make another tweet about it when he was going off on the banned books, and we'll go over some of the reactions because everybody kind of realizes this is ridiculous. And you get into this, and he says, stay tuned for other info on PEN America's next report on book bans dropping October 1st. Get involved, educate yourselves. Naturally, they'll never talk about something that they're talking about. There were 10,000 book bans in schools. See, it's always just about schools across the country. With your help, we can get these books back in kids' hands. So it is about just getting these books back in kids' hands and grooming children. And this is, you saw, it's explicit. Stephen King's books are not appropriate for children. We know this. And so why would you want these back in schools? This doesn't make any sense, right? So what are the comments here? You put child porn in it, you pervert. Yeah, there's that. This bub, I'm delighted that Trump is off Twitter and other forms of social media. When the dog bites, you muzzle it. So, of course, that. You misspelled overrated. Are you retarded? Wait, if you're banned, how come anyone pick up one of them? Right. Now I see why you write fiction, because you're good at it. Have a nice day, Queen. I read it and noticed you wrote graphic orgy scene between a bunch of little kids. What was going through your mind when you wrote that? Oh, yeah. Which book has been banned by the government? Having someone not want your book in their library isn't banning, it's a choice. It's not even a library. We're talking kids' libraries, right, is where it's at. Most of the libraries carry Stephen King's books, which is ridiculous as it is. Again, that's a system that's propping somebody up rather than anything else. And so he's getting just absolutely savaged in the comments here, because his comments are just stuff that people are like, what's going on? And hey, Grok, can anyone in the United States purchase any of Stephen King's 87 books? If so, how would they be considered banned? And of course, Grok will answer about the libraries, I'm certain. It means restricted in specific school districts. Again, Stephen King is not put into school districts with his graphic horror stuff. That's a good thing. That if schools were putting them in, that would be a problem, and we should pay attention to that as parents. And actually, some schools do that kind of thing, and parents, do have to push back on this sort of thing. So this is where we're at. This is the fight with traditional publishing, and where they're lying about book bans. And you walk into Barnes & Noble, they have a whole table that says banned books, up front and center. It's like, okay, are these really the banned books? These people are just abject liars, and they create these fictions all the way around, and they make words mean nothing, and it's intentional. They want words to mean nothing. They want bans to mean nothing, so you're not going to pay attention to the independent author who actually gets banned from Kickstarter and Patreon and the like, and you're not going to fight those companies on that level. You're just going to fight and say, Jimmy Kimmel, free speech, right? I mean, because, wait a minute, that guy's propped up by Hollywood. He makes multi-millions. In fact, he did not lose his show. What's going on here? And they flipped out about that over a week. It's all about creating a fake narrative to distract from the fact that they control the media, they control publishing, they control every entertainment aspect, and they do blacklist anybody who has disagreeing opinions with them all the time, 100%. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Do you feel sad for Stephen King? Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon. And make sure to check out My For Steaming Country in the description below. Really appreciate you guys supporting our books here. This is the way we get the word out, and thanks for reading.